kid size mask in 2 sizes. The smaller size is good for kids under 5, and the bigger size is good for kids maybe 5 to 9 or so. I recommend keeping your kids at home inside, safe from the virus, but if you want to make a couple of these to have on hand, it would be great in case you need to go to the doctor. I think that's really the only place you might want to take a kid if you absolutely have to go to the doctor. I also made these kind of to let my kids wear them a little bit so that if we do end up having to use them, they won't be as scared. I found that they have started using them to play doctor, which is really cute. Of course, we need more healthcare workers. Let's get started. Okay, to make a kid's mask with a filter pocket, you'll need the pattern pieces. You can print these from the blog post, and there are 2 sizes, large and small. The small is best for kids maybe under 5, but you should not give a mask to a child under 2. And then large will be best for a little bit bigger kids. So you'll want to cut out 2 backs, 1 front piece. You'll also need a yarn needle, and so yarn needles have a really big eye, and then you'll need bead elastic. Bead elastic is actually pretty easy to find right now. 1/4 inch elastic is hard to find, but bead elastic is really good for kids' ears because the 1/4 inch elastic is maybe just too strong for their ears and won't be comfortable. This is a good elastic for them because it's really thin and stretches easily. So the first step is to use your iron and press the backs in half, hot dog style. And repeat for the other one. And then with your front facing up, pin the back pieces to the front piece. So you're gonna wanna line up the raw edges, the open edges, with the top raw edge and the bottom. So you're gonna have a little overlap here. And I like to pin it on the overlap to hold that. And then that overlap will create a little pocket for you, and you can add a filter. If you don't add a filter, that creating the pocket also gives you a 3-layer mask, which is gonna be more protection than a 2-layer mask. Some options for filters are coffee filters. Some people are using dried up baby wipes, or there's carbon filters you can buy on Amazon. So there's a lot of different options. I don't know the best because I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but 3 layers here will offer pretty good protection anyways for kids. So okay, so now that you have it pinned, we're gonna sew all the way around the rectangle edges the entire way. 1/4 inch seam allowance, pivoting at the corners. After you've sewn around the edges, take out your pins and clip the corners so you don't have as much bulk. And then you also will want to trim the seam allowance just a little bit so it's down to about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, after you've done that, turn the fabric right side out through the opening, the pocket holder in the back, and push the corners out. I like to kind of gently use my scissors to do that. And then we'll press it really well. Now this mask is a little different than the others because it has the bead allowance. Okay, so this mask is ready, so I'm gonna press it really well. And we're making a casing with this, and we're gonna thread the bead elastic through it. So bead elastic is really hard to sew. If you were to clip it and try to sew one edge here and one edge here, it's really hard to get the bead elastic to stay because it often when you'll stitch, you'll just go right over it and then it'll slip out. So what I like to do is to sew a casing. So I'm just gonna sew from the top of my side to the bottom with about a 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch casing. So I'm gonna do that on both sides and back stitch at the top and bottom. Okay, you can kind of see the casing there. So that casing will help the elastic guide through. So for these masks, I'm doing about a 6-inch, this is a large child mask, so I'm doing about a 6-inch piece of elastic. If you find that that is too big after you've sewn it, you can knot the elastic a little bit higher up and then it'll just be shorter that way. So, So now I'm going to put the elastic on my yarn needle, and since the eye of the needle is so big, it goes on really easily. And then I'm going to thread it through like it's a casing, and then just pull the elastic. So this mask does not have pleats. It just uses the elastic to gather at the side. So you want to make sure to hold on to the edge of the elastic, and once it's through, you can grab the ends and tie them together. So like I said, if you find that this doesn't necessarily fit well later, you can tie a knot closer and trim it off. Okay, so there's one side. I'm going to do the other side same exact way, and this way there's no elastic edges inside of this that will slip out, since this is actually a circle with a knot on the end. So you don't want your elastic to slip off like that. But once it's sewn, the elastic's not going to slip out, so you don't have to worry about that. I know there are some other tricks if you are clipping the elastic, like to make a knot, but this is a foolproof method of using bead elastic. And like I said, bead elastic is still fairly easy to find, so you can look on Etsy or Amazon and you should be able to find it, and it comes in a roll with a ton, so that's going to make a ton of masks. Okay, so now that I've done that, you can go ahead and use it like this. That will work just fine. But I like to kind of pull it and then stitch over where the elastic and the fabric are right here really well so that it holds it in place. So what I'll do is I'll sew across the diagonal here and just back stitch, front stitch, back stitch about 4 times to hold it in place. Okay, so after you've sewn it, it'll just hold the edges in place and gathered, and then your mask is done.